Hey all, and welcome back to New World. In today's video, I have the second part in my leveling guide series for New World, how to do it efficiently, how to not miss out on any of the content the game doesn't tell you about. So one, you can go do it because it's fun, but two, also it gives you a bunch of XP so you can level more efficiently. Jumping straight into it, the basic stuff you guys likely already know. Main quest is king. It's very simple. All you have to do is go talk to this geezer, run 2 kilometers, do a little bit of something, run back, and it gives you like 6k XP, which is a huge amount of XP in this game, which is why everything kind of revolves around that. You want to be getting all your side missions that are on level to do in the same area or along the run to the main mission. Faction missions are good. They're not great for XP, but they are good for getting faction tokens, which give you a bunch of rewards and things you can only get by doing faction missions. So I do those as long as they're along the run. It's not worth it if you're just going for XP though. Town board quests, I went over it in the last video, so I'll go through it very briefly for you guys. Don't give them raw materials. The raids, they're not great. They're very low on XP unless you're in a high level zone. They might be kind of worth it for 1 or 2 a run. But other than that, they're not really worth your time. Definitely go for the iron armor or weapon boxes they get you to make. Those are the best. They give you so much XP for handing it into the town board, but also it doesn't use that much materials and gives you a bunch of crafting levels, which is really good. I've leveled up my weaponsmithing to like 60 something, and I've literally never crafted a weapon, just those boxes. So make sure you're doing those along the way. And other than that, hunting like turkeys, wolves, rabbits, because you can find them everywhere, those are worth, but the big guys, if you have to go out of your way, it's really not worth the XP and the time spent doing that. So those are obviously the basics, just town board every 30 minutes, main quest, side quests, whenever they're on the way, and faction missions if you want the rewards, but they're not really worth the XP otherwise. When you hit around 23 to 27, you should be able to get there pretty easily. The lower levels are very easy to level up. You hit Amaran Dungeon, which is the first raid, a ton of fun, and you can do it a lot, particularly compared to the others, for very cheap or completely free. So the game bystander gives you 1 key via the main mission, so you can do that. It's a level 25 recommended. I think I've gone in at level 22, honestly lower every single time, and generally been okay. If everyone's inexperienced, then you're probably going to have a hard time, but if you know what you're doing, you can generally go in under leveled. You can also get a secondary free key by doing side missions in Everfall from a guy named William Heron, I believe is how you pronounce it. He gives you a free Amaran key, but also gives you a key for a level 35 dungeon, which we'll get to later, but make sure you're doing the missions from that guy because 1, great XP, 2, gives you free keys, which is awesome. You can also craft more keys if you want. They're a little expensive and require you doing crafted portals, and I didn't bother doing it. It did seem to take a lot of time for what it's going to give you in return. The other option is just hang out outside Amaran Dungeon. If yours is like my server, there is always at least 20 people hanging out the front of Amaran. You can just ask, single person looking for a group. There's usually, 2 to 3 people trying to get a few extras for their group. You'll be able to jump in, they'll have the key, you get a free run through Amaran, a bunch of XP, a bunch of loot, but also you can actually double down on the XP while it's doing the Amaran run. There's a little doggo out the front, Barkamedes. Go take his mission. That is an easy 4 to, I think, up to 6k XP, depending on your level, per run. And it's incredibly simple. You just do the run and pick up the loot bags on the ground. That's it. And then as third one you can do, it doesn't always pop up. I think you have to be slightly higher level. I think it's like around 25 it starts popping up. The faction mission in Windswood starts giving you Amaran Dungeon Run missions, which again, very simple. You just take it, run through the dungeon as normal, and as you're killing enemies, you're getting that mission progress. So you can get 3 missions done per Amaran run on top of the enemies in there giving you a bunch of XP as well. Now up to you how many times you guys want to run it, but you can pretty much do it anywhere between level 22 to 27, maybe even 30. Honestly, it gives you a decent amount of XP up until there. It starts dropping off as you get closer to 30, but if you can find enough groups that want to run and need extra players, you may as well do it. It's free, good loot and good XP. You can if you guys want to, but at 25 it really kicks off. There are so many different things you can do, starting corrupted portals. These are really good for XP, really good for loot, and are free. You just walk up to them and start doing them. And there's usually a big crowd going around doing them in each area. At least there are on my server. You can just join up with them and just absolutely blast them. You can get them done in like a couple minutes. You get a cool loot chest. You get about 500 to 2000 XP per thing. And there's usually anywhere between 5 and 15 of the individual events in each area, depending on how good your server is at keeping on top of them. And if that wasn't enough stuff to do at level 25, there is also an elite zone that opens up or becomes a recommended level at 25. In Monarch's Bluff, it's called Dead Man's Cove. It's on the bottom left-hand side of the map. It is really, really good for XP. It's insane for weapon XP, but regular XP as well. It's really, really good. It's a completely open area. You pretty much just rock up, and there is a ton of elite enemies in there. Make sure you go with a crew if you don't have any mates playing the game or aren't currently online. If you just rock up, there's usually people in the same boat kind of hanging out the front that are asking to join a group. Or there's sometimes packs of up to 10 to 20 players just absolutely blitzing it. Again, stick with the pack, tag all the enemies that you can. You'll be getting a bunch of XP for doing that. And there is a heap of chests in there. Loot all those up. You get a bunch of weapons and just, craftable materials and stuff like that. Those are on a long cooldown. I think it's like once every 12 hours to a day they refresh. But if you do it any more than that, it's just good for XP and weapon XP as you're going through that area. All that combined with main quests, side quests, town boards, and faction missions, you'll easily be level 30 in no time with just doing those. Then you can move up to Brightwood, which is the level 30 through, I think, 40 recommended zone, which will be finally out of the starting zones. You'll have much tougher enemies in there. And once you make it to town, you'll have new side quests, town boards, and faction missions, which will all now give more XP pretty much for the same missions, or, for the town board ones at least. But because you're in a new area with higher enemies, you'll be getting more XP as a reward for those, which are really good to go check out. Plus, now that you've hit level 30, you will hit the, there's like a progression blocker. You can't keep going with the main mission until you hit 30. Hit up those. They're super simple. There's literally one that you go talk to 5 different people all within 500 meters, and they give you like 20,000 XP for a 30-minute thing. It's very, very simple. So do all of that, and this is kind of where it slows down like a little bit. You hit around 33, and there's not much to do other than side quests for another 2 levels. You're kind of a little under-leveled for the new corrupted portals, so you kind of just... you're just vibing. You're doing side quests. I personally was crafting a whole bunch of stuff at the time, so maybe go check out some crafting, whatever you guys like to do, side quests in the game. Or if you want to, you can just go straight for corrupted portals. If you've got a big enough crew, you'll have absolutely no problem. But do whatever it takes to get to 35, because that's where it starts to kick off again. Because corrupted portals in Brightwood are recommended 35, and there is usually heaps of them all around the place. Go around with a crew that's usually trying to clear them out, and just take out as many as you can. The smaller ones are a lot easier and generally give about 1,000 to 1,500 XP, and the big ones usually take a lot longer, but they give, I think, 3,000 XP. That's off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it's around about that ballpark. Plus, they again give you really good on-level loot, which is usually kind of hard to get in those starting zones because they have players at a level 10 and they have players all the way up to 25 to 30. But now you're in Brightwood, all the level loot will be a lot better for you. You'll be able to level your gear score and get your weapon damage up, and you can just absolutely blitz through those portals. Now, around the same time, level 35, you'll be able to get into the Starstone Burrows raid, which is the second raid. The main story doesn't take you there, and it doesn't give you a free key, unfortunately. Like I said, you want to do the side quests from the guy in Everfall, William Heron, if that's how you pronounce it. He'll give you originally an Amaran key, but then apparently he gives you the key for the Starstone Burrows as well. I personally haven't done it yet because my group is all at very different levels at the moment. But if you guys have a group, or if you want to go try to find other people on your server to do it with, you can get a free key and hit that one up. It is a recommended 3-player run at level 35, and apparently that's also really good for XP. You can also double down again because Barkamedes back at the Amaran run area gives you a mission to go do pretty much the same thing at this new raid as well, which gives you around about 6k XP, which is ridiculous because you're not doing anything extra. So make sure you hit up that if you are doing the new raid. If not, pretty much what I did was just go hit up the corrupted portals till I was around about level 37, and then I pushed into Weaver's Fen, which is a level 35 to 40 recommended zone and a lot more difficult. The enemies hit like a truck there, so make sure you are ready to push into that area. Again, the classic, there's new town board side quests, that kind of stuff in the town, but I was actually going there to go check out the new elite zone, which is actually recommended level 40, but I pushed in there a little bit early. As solo, honestly, I could take the enemies one by one and I was getting a huge amount of XP plus weapon XP as well. But when I was in there for a little while, I found a group and we could absolutely smash the entire thing. It's called Periville, I think is how you pronounce it. It's just on the left-hand side of Weaver's Fen. If you have a group, it can be absolutely sorted. If you are solo, if you're careful with it and don't try and take on too many people at the same time, you're able to get a huge amount of XP and level up to 40 just via that if you want to, but combined with the main missions, side quests, the usual thing. You'll be up to 40 in no time just from that. And that is 20 through 40. Don't miss out on the raids. Don't miss out on the elite zones. They're really good XP farms, as well as weapon XP and loot as well. Hope you guys found the video helpful. If you did, don't forget to smash subscribe on you guys' way out. If you guys want to check us out on Twitch, we stream every night over there. Just link down below. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Catch you guys in the next video and a live stream. Till then, adios.